Khan Academy multiply fractions, and we're working on the last subtopic, multiply fractions word problems. Julia has a role in the school play. She recorded the amount of time she practiced her lines each day this week in the table below. On Tuesday, she practiced 2/3 of the time that she practiced on Wednesday. Fill in the number of hours that Julia practiced her lines on Tuesday in the table below. So she practiced 2/3 of, which means times, the amount of time she practiced on Wednesday. Well, on Wednesday she practiced 5/6 of an hour. So Julia practiced 2/3 of 5/6 of an hour. So we're going to multiply those together. Remember, of is times in math. So 2 times 5 is 10, and 3 times 6 is 18. But then I can also simplify. I can divide both of those by 2. 10 divided by 2 would be 5, and 18 divided by 2 would be 9. So 5/9 is going to be my answer. Natasha spent 1.5 hours on the beach. She fell asleep for 3/4 of the time she was on the beach, and then woke up with a terrible sunburn. How many hours was Natasha asleep on the beach? Well, she was asleep for 3/4 of, which is times, 1.5 hours. She was asleep for 3/4 of the 1.5. So the first thing I'm going to do is change this 1.5 to my improper fraction. So 2 times 1 is 2, and then 1 more would be 3. So I'm going to change that. Instead of 1.5, I'm going to make that be 3/2 because that's my improper fraction of 1.5. So now I can multiply these together because remember that of is times. That's a huge key factor there. 3 times 3 is 9, and 4 times 2 is 8. Now we're going to simplify this because 9/8 is more than 1. Okay, so that means if I had 8/8, that would be 1, but I have 9/8, so I have 1 and 1/8. So 1 and 1/8 will be my final answer. Junior's brother is 1.5 meters tall. Junior is 1 1/5 of his brother's height. So how tall is he? Well, Junior is 1 1/5 of, which is times, 1 1/2. Okay, and again, remember with multiplying fractions, our best bet is to change them into improper fractions. So 5 times 1 is 5, plus another one would be 6/5, would be my improper fraction there, times 1 1/2. 2 times 1 is 2, plus another one is 3/2. So 6 times 3 is 18, and 5 times 2 is 10. And then I can simplify because 10 fits into 18 one whole time with 8/10 left over, because 10/10 would be 1, and then I would still have 8/10 left over. And then I can actually continue simplifying. My 1 stays the same, but I can divide 8 divided by 2 is 4, and 10 divided by 2 is 5. So 1 4/5. Rapunzel cut off 2/3 of her hair. She donated 7/8 of what she cut off to a wig shop. So she donated 7/8 of, which means times, 2/3 of her hair. So 7/8 times 2/3, 7 times 2 is 14, and 8 times 3 is 24. I can simplify. Both of those numbers are even, so I'm just going to divide them by 2. 14 divided by 2 is 7, and 24 divided by 2 is 12. so she donated 7/12 of her hair.